everybody, what is up and welcome to my video review of It 2017 Chapter 1. Let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about the plot. Now, I haven't read the book, the original book by Stephen King, but from what I understand, this is the more faithful representation of that story. It's more close in sort of some of the visual things, like all the violence. It's a lot more accurate on that from the mini series back in the day. But I really enjoyed it. I thought I've seen like parts of the mini series. I saw a review of it, so I'm basically an expert pretty much. But I did see the new movie in its entirety, so you can trust me on that one. So yeah, from what I understand, this is a more faithful representation, and from what I've seen of the original miniseries, it is definitely a lot better than that. Let's talk about the. I was going to talk about the plot. I just said that, like, okay, the plot it's good, it's solid, it's a solid plot, and I don't want to give too many spoilers away. Gonna give a spoiler warning when I start getting into that, but let's move on from that. Let's go to the characters. Now, the characters were very well executed, I think. Talk about Pennywise last. Let's talk about the kids first. Thanks to the Diamond TARDIS for sending me a message right in the middle of my biggest video of 2017. Cool. Yeah, just gonna put that on Do Not Disturb. And there we go. Okay, so the characters, the kids, they were all very well acted. If any of you are watching this, first of all, why? Second of all, hey, you're pretty good. Yeah, so all of the kids were very good actors, very talented, of course. I feel like it's one of those movies where the kids actually act, like normal kids. They don't act all, hey, frick you, dude. Oh, frick you. You stole my fricking juice box. No, it's not that. It's like, hey, fuck you. Like, fuck you, you fucking asshole. It's more like that. It's more like that. It's not PG at all. It's red. The movie's rated R. I'm pretty sure. You gotta do a couple of sneaks to get in there, but it's all worth it in the end. Don't worry, nothing illegal. Just a little bit of a. The Diamond TARDIS is pretty cool. Yeah, so the kids were all very well acted, well executed, and I enjoyed their performances a lot. I thought they brought new life into those characters. Now let's talk about the adults for a second. The adults really didn't have a huge role in this movie. It was really just about the kids and Pennywise, but the adults that were there were they were very good as well. They're all obviously in supporting roles, and I feel like they filled those roles pretty well. They accurately represented what should be represented in their different character arcs, kind of. They're different characters. They definitely conveyed a message of, hey, I'm gonna make your life fucking miserable. They did that very effectively, and although they might not have had the biggest roles, they brought a new layer of immersion into this movie. Let's talk about the clown, Pennywise. Bill Skarsgård, something like that. Bill, if you're watching this, first of all, why? Second of all, hey, you're pretty good. As we know, Tim Curry was the original clown, and the problem with Tim Curry is he is not really scary. Tim Curry is funny. He's not a scary guy, okay? Unlike good old Bill here, who played the guy in the Pennywise in the new one. Tim Curry in the original miniseries was not a scary character. He was funny and annoying, pretty much. But they changed that a lot. They pulled a complete 180. This was a scary guy. He brought so much depth and so much emotion to this character, and I know that it seems so real. It's in the theater watching this guy like fucking grab these kids and choke them and scream in their faces. You really felt like you were about to get eaten or something. It was a scary experience. I didn't watch this movie in 3D. Is there even a 3D option? I don't know, but it wasn't in the theater that I was in. But yeah, he was an amazing actor in this movie. I hope to continue to see him in newer movies. I'm taking my headphones off at this point. Thanks, the Diamond TARDIS. Yeah, okay, so this was a great performance by this actor, and I hope to see him in a lot more movies coming up very soon, I hope. So yeah, that's that. Let's get the Diamond TARDIS on to talk a little bit about what he liked about the movie. The Diamond TARDIS, you are on the air.
You don't have an on-air sign, so you can't say that.
You are on my recording.
I can't physically be on top of the recording.
You are out of the video.
I can't physically.
All right, you're not on audio anymore in OBS. I turned you all the way down. This was your opportunity. You fucked up my entire video. Hang on, I need to turn your audio up again. Okay.
Yeah, so Tom the Vlog should like upload more, honestly.
This was supposed to be a real video that people could just come in and watch, and now you're making references to the channel. How dare you? This was gonna be my big.
Go subscribe to Tom the Vlog.
Do that, but first of all, duh, I'm not. I don't have a channel. I'm just a random reviewer you just found on the internet you like the sound of. You don't, probably, but it's the first one that came up. It's probably the last one that came up. You've seen all the other ones. You're like, autoplay. Probably fell asleep already. And I'm like the 50th person you've like seen. It's probably something like 4 in the morning, and you're fast asleep, having a nice dream, and nobody watches my videos.
Are you sure about that?
Okay, the Diamond TARDIS, you're off the air. Let's continue the review. So I talked about plot. I talked about characters. Hang on. I need to turn you up. All right, here you go. The Diamond TARDIS, what did you think?
About what?
The movie.
What movie?
It. Sorry.
Well, what's the movie?
The movie is It, 2017.
Okay, so what I think, I don't think there's a movie called 2017.
Okay, the movie is called It, Chapter 1.
I don't think there's a movie called Chapter 1, to be honest.
The movie is called It.
Oh, why can't you just tell me?
Alright, and you're off, okay? I'm hanging up the call. Thank you, that I'm in.
Pennywise the Dancing Clown was, he was, I mean, to be honest, he wasn't too spooky for me. I don't really watch freaking horror movies much, but like, I also don't get scared at them. But honestly, the actor that played Pennywise was freaking amazing. The eyes going different ways. That was gold.
That was genius.
That was pure gold. The changing forms, I thought that those were some pretty good visual effects. I have not seen the old one or a review of the old one, so I don't really know how the old one was. I just know it was a TV movie, and it didn't really have any profanity in it at all. So like it was for all ages, which I think it sounds pretty cool, to be honest. You know, because even freaking 2-year-olds can watch that, you know, and
I'd say it's more PG-13.
Diamond TARDIS EXE has stopped working.
Yeah, okay, that's why OBS.exe/desktop audio has also stopped working. Okay, so let's talk about the. Okay, we talked about plot. We talked about characters. We talked to the Diamond TARDIS. Now, let's talk about the spoilers. So, if you don't want spoilers right now, please look away currently. Before we talk about spoilers, actually, let's talk about visual effects. Hopefully you haven't left just yet. Visual effects were stunning. I think I already talked about this, but I just want to reiterate, the visual effects were honestly amazing. I really can't stress this enough. This is an amazing movie. For the effects alone, it's really amazing what they can do these days. You know, I used to think I was born in the wrong generation because today's popular music is slightly terrible. But now I was born in the right generation because we have It Chapter 1. Cool. Okay, so let's talk about spoilers now. After we talked about all that, before you guys look away when we talk about spoilers, I just want to reiterate for you guys who are about to leave, this is an amazing movie. I assume that if you don't want to see the spoilers, you're probably planning on watching it, so go do that. If you need another push, just come on. It's a great movie. You'll really enjoy it. So let's talk about spoilers. Now, this movie was full of, I don't want to say plot twists, but it was full of surprises. One in particular was the bit of a surprise that the one kid, this kid Eddie, I'm pretty sure his name is. I watched the movie, but didn't really quite get the names because good old Samuel Gino was chucking popcorn at me the entire. Don't say that. That makes you sound like Diamond TARDIS just sent me a picture of myself. Apparently, let's go take a look. I can hear you, but you're not going on air. Okay, so the kid Eddie, whose mom is a hypochondriac. She's really paranoid. That if you don't know what hypochondriac is, it's basically a person who's really paranoid and just thinks that they always have every single disease. You know, like, hey, like, I feel a little bit chilly right now. It must be brain cancer. No, it's basically like that. That's an extreme example, but I don't think it's far off from this person because this woman made her son basically take like tens of pills every day, and all the pills were just placebos. They weren't real. And there was a really emotional scene where the kid finds that out. This person at the drugstore tells him when he's getting his prescription filled. She tells him, "Hey, you know, these are all fucking bullshit. They don't do anything." And he's like, he confronts his mom about this. He's like, "Hey, these are fucking." He calls them gazebos. It's really like, these are fucking. I can't show the scene or I'll get demonetized, but I'm already gonna. I don't make any money because I don't have 10,000 lifetime views, but we can change that. So there's a scene where he comes into his mom. He's like, "Hey, these are fucking gazebos," and he throws them on the ground, and he's pissed because all his life he's been fed these lies by his maternal figure. And the Diamond TARDIS is like yelling at me right now. I'm trying to make a video, but yeah, so he's been fed these lies all his life by his mother, and he's just now finding out by this random person at the pharmacy that, oh, don't fucking do anything. So it's an emotional scene. It's a moving scene. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Definitely. There, at the end, let's talk about the ending. The ending is. Hang on, the Diamond TARDIS is talking.
She killed her dad, you know?
Let's Diamond TARDIS talk about that scene right there. That's a good one too. Because hang on, let me just say something for a second. Basically, all the kids sort of come into this realization that they need to sort of leave or sort of get away from their parents more. They need to grow up in a sense. It's a great movie. But yeah, basically the characters, most of the kids have this sort of moment where they realize they need to get away. And the Diamond TARDIS was just saying one of the characters, the only female member of the Losers Club, which is what this group of kids calls themselves, actually killed her father because he was heavily implied. I'm not going to touch on this very much because it's a very adult theme, but something pretty bad is very heavily implied, and I don't want to say that on my channel because it's pretty adult. But I mean, you're watching this video anyway, so yeah. It. I don't want to lose all of my innocence. Okay, so yeah, she kills her father and then goes off to join to find the rest of the Losers Club, and they all culminate in this ending scene in the sewer, where basically Pennywise is there. He chases them around for a little bit, and it all culminates. It all comes together in the scene where Pennywise has one of the kids, the main kid, whose brother, Georgie, in that famous scene with the boat and the sewer, gets eaten by Pennywise in that scene. That's also a very disturbing scene. If you don't like disturbing things, don't see that scene. It's especially in the new one. It's a lot more emotional, I guess, than the original, but it's a disturbing scene. So if you don't like things like that, definitely don't watch it. But so it all culminates into Pennywise having Bill, this kid whose brother died. Let's not talk. Hang on. Okay, so Bill sees as Pennywise turns into a lot of things. He's basically an elder god, and he takes the form of Bill's brother Georgie, who of course he ate a long time ago. But he's there, and there's a very intense scene where Bill has to shoot him because he knows it's not real. He's been telling himself that Georgie's still alive the entire time, but I think on some level he knew that he wasn't the entire time as well. He was just sort of in denial, and it comes together. He knows he has to move on, so he shoots this Pennywise in the form of Georgie, and it's an intense scene. I definitely recommend. Don't just listen to me talk about it. Go watch it. Go see it in theater. It's a lot better there. But then Pennywise comes into fruition and shows himself to all of them, and he basically captures Billy. And Billy, this kid whose brother died, who he just shot his long lost, not long lost, but his dead brother in the head with this bolt gun. He gets captured by Pennywise. He's got him in like a chokehold, and he says, "Hey," because as we all know, he feeds off of fear, and he says, "Hey, you, all of you, let me go with him. I'll go eat him, and then you guys can live all happy lives. I'll never bother you again." So it's really it's an amazing scene where Richie, this kid, played by my boy Finn. He was also in Stranger Things. You probably know him from. But he goes over. He grabs. There's this pile of circus equipment. He grabs this baseball bat from it, and he says, "I've got to kill this fucking clown." And it's the greatest scene in the entire movie. They all fucking grab these weapons and start kicking this clown's ass. So he tries to scare them all. He tries to take the form of all of their fears that he has been terrorizing them with the entire movie. And they all fucking kick the shit out of him. And he knows, the clown thinks that he's got them all beat. He's an elder god. He can kill them all. But they actually know. Hey, Billy comes up to him. He says, "Hey, you can't kill us, because we're not afraid, and you feed off of fear. And now you're the one who's afraid of us, because you're gonna starve." And it's really a badass scene, because this fucking entity has been terrorizing them this entire movie, and they finally come back and kick the shit out of him. And it's I don't know how else to describe it. It's an amazing scene. It's an intense scene. You gotta see it on the big screen. It's a great scene, and it ends sort of on a cliffhanger. Pennywise falls into the well. He falls backwards, and he says his last word. He looks up to him and he says, "Fear." And then he falls, and like part of his head falls off, probably in homage to the original where they shot him with the slingshot with the silver, and a chunk of his head basically came off. and that's probably an homage to that, I'm guessing. But then in the after credits scene, it's not really a scene. Basically, it's just Pennywise laughing over the logo of the movie. It's just him laughing. And the thing is, when I was seeing this movie with the Diamond TARDIS and Samuel Gino, everybody left. Literally everybody except us left the theater, and it was like building up these little kids, because it's like it's a little bit creepy because these little kids in the movie are like singing this childish song, but it's actually creepy because it's a clown and he kills people, he eats them. So it was pretty creepy sitting there in the movie theater, not knowing what was gonna happen, not knowing if there was gonna be a jump scare at the end, and we were the only ones there. It was a lot of build up for not a very good payoff. He just laughed there, knowing just showing us that he's not actually dead. And uh, before that, actually, it showed at the end, it showed the logo "It," and then under it, Chapter 1. And then we all thought to ourselves, hey, that's cool. Who needs the second half for another 15 years? Certainly not us, right? Cool. Okay. So, let me just finish off this review by saying, please go see this movie. It's an amazing movie, amazing actors, and an amazing story, amazing effects. Overall, a stellar movie. My final score for this would probably be a 9 out of 10. I loved it. I hope you'll love it too. And it's really just one of those films that you have to see on the big screen. So, now that that's been said, there really isn't that much more to say. So I'll see you guys in the next episode of movie reviews, maybe someday. Thank you for watching. See you guys later. Bye-bye.